Now you might consider that video a little bit over the top, a bit radical. Really the point I'm trying to make is that if you get your caravan right, balanced right, then you'll be in a win-win situation, and you probably won't have to have that fear of the sway. There is a push at the moment that all people who are towing anything, especially caravan or trailer, will need to get an upgraded licence. That's only in discussion. And I think personally, I think that's a good idea. I think too many people just go in to a store, grab the best or grab a caravan according to their budget, pop it on the back of the car and off they go on a short, medium or long-term journey. And not knowing about tyre pressures and about what can cause a sway is, I think it should be looked into. Now, as I was saying, the purpose of this exercise is really only to be talking about the boot. Keep in mind though, not a good idea to have a lot of weight on the back, for instance putting motorbikes and electric bikes and all that sort of stuff, because all you're going to do is you're going to have your caravan sitting up like that, potentially quite up like that. It won't be that radical, but it's not a good way to tow. Now the other thing you can do is, because you can control this, you need some important things in there in your consideration important. Don't have it too light, again, because you'll have the caravan lifting up that way. Just try and work it out to have a kind of a medium sit. So yeah, I'm talking about the boot. And for the overall discussion about having the caravan weighted correctly, it's really important to have as much as you can, have the majority of your weight inside the caravan, sitting on the axle, above the axle. Now I'm lucky because I've got a tandem axle, so I've got two axles to sit on. Probably got an area around about that wide. And it's not always perfect in there I'll show you, but so again, if you can, have a lot of your weight above the axles, clean this out and try and have it sensible, not too much on the back, and you probably will never have that problem of the sway, hopefully. Okay, let's get into it. Now we're talking about my boot or your boot. We'll start up with my boot and we'll take everything out. Hopefully there won't be anything too embarrassing or anything too ridiculously heavy, but we'll see what I can discard. Now keeping in mind that the weight of this, the more weight I'll put on that, then the more gets on the drawbar, and that weight on the drawbar can affect the overall weight of the caravan and the towing ability and the insurance. So yeah, just be aware of that. I seem to do this quite regularly and I never seem to get rid of anything. I think I'm a bit of a magpie. If I find something, I've just got to hang on to it just in case I might need it. I'm not going to get too involved in the discussion. I'll just take it out and then I'll work from there. That's the floor outside the caravan. Petrol or gas for the generator. Little one for the generator. Love this. This is my pump, so I can pump from one of my water tanks straight into the water system. It's got it in there, it's got a pump, it's got an extended cigarette lighter cable that'll run into there, and it's great. I use this a lot, not in this case, but I use it for either jacking up the car or the caravan. So I put the jack on that, or I can put the jockey wheel on that. And it doesn't look as though it does, but it takes an amazing amount of weight. The important cable for shore power. Wind up hose. Converter from just straight normal plug to someone's home to convert to power in the caravan. They're homemade tent pegs. Safety to put if I'm broken down or if I'm working on the caravan close to the road. Empty, but I normally keep all my electrical cables in there. Extension cords for that bag. Oil for generator. Probably need a new one of those. Trouble is that's the lightest thing. It weighs only just so many grams, but anyway. What do your bearings look like from your caravan? Mine look like this, and they've got the part numbers and everything on them as well. Now, the reason I say that is make certain you at least take a pair of them in case you have a drama, because it's all very well say, "All right, mate, I know how to do my bearings," but it might be a bit difficult if you don't have a spare set and you're out in the middle of whoop whoop and you just decide to go down to your local auto store and the guy says, "Oh yeah, we'll get them in." No problems at all. Take about 10 days. So that means you're on the side of the road for 10 days, because if you've got busted bearings or problems with the bearings, you've got to put the right ones in. So make certain you get a spare set. CT18, fantastic for washing caravans. It's actually a truck wash. What I tend to do is I'll wet the van, scrub it down with some sort of a brush, and then hose it off almost instantaneously. I might leave it on for 10 minutes. Look, I could probably leave it on longer, just don't want to take the chance in case it damages the paint. But once I do it, seriously, the van really looks good. I wouldn't use it on the car, but the van comes up really good. A little bucket and some other stuff. That'll do it, but you can see, sadly, a fair bit of that is rubbish. And we have to make the executive decision, out it goes. But the very things I'm going to throw out probably got no weight at all, so I'll repack it and hopefully it'll be a little bit better. I would love to say this is my idea, however I did notice it on the internet the other day, but still a great idea. So you know how you get a block of soap and it gets all manky on one side and it gets soft and all starts to deteriorate? Well, what you can do is you can get a bottle cap. This is just off a soft drink or a milk bottle, and what you do is you just screw that in and that actually secures it, so then you can just sit it on the bottle top without it rotting away on the sink. Here's something you may or may not know. Should always try and find a campsite that allows you to orient your caravan such that the front faces east and the rear faces west. Now that's not always possible, but the reason we're doing that is the fridge side of the van is usually shaded all day, and the roof mounted solar panels get the maximum amount of sun all day as well. So if you can, have it that way. This family would have been okay, but they couldn't, the fence was in the road basically, but they could have come over this way toward me and spun it around. They would have had the perfect scenario. Now there was a reason for me working on the boot. Apart from just being tidy, it was really handy to know that I could get some of the weight out of the boot. So if it's possible to get it out of there and actually into the caravan, that would be a good thing. But a lot of this sort of stuff, I don't want the diesel container in there, and I don't want you know, jacks and all that sort of stuff inside the van. So apart from tidying it, I also wanted to weigh it. Now this is a great little thing. It's actually for weighing the nose, that's what the UK call this, or the ball weight of the caravan. Very important to know it. So what I've done is I've got my sturdy plate down there. Here is the tool. Just got to need to take it up a bit. Meanwhile, don't forget, if you've got any of the legs down, loosen them, take them up. You don't want them affecting it. And also make certain the two of the wheels are well chocked. Okay. Just got to line that up so it lands nicely on it. And then down we go, and this will take the weight of it. And I just want to have that turn so I can read them both figures. This one's pounds, this one's kilos. And as soon as this jockey wheel comes loose and is free from the ground, which it is now, then that is the actual weight. Let's have a look, see what the measurement is. Here's the measurements. I usually do this. So it's smack on 400. Pounds is about 185 kilograms. So that's good. And when you're finished, make certain you jack it back up again. We can't have that too heavy, and we can't have it too light. And in the video I showed earlier on, there's a few videos on YouTube, they show you if you've got too much weight at the one end, it'll start swaying, and that's the last thing you want. So that's really important. So yeah, and as well as that, what I've done is I went down to the Malden place and Malden Library, and they kindly helped me type out and print this. So in this, what I've got is basically the left hand, the right hand side of the tunnel or the boot. So on that side, it's the the ramp, the water hose, etc., and on the other side, it's the washing stuff and the weights and all that sort of stuff. So that's handy to have in there. Also, if you're saying, I'm sure it's always in there, and if it's been stolen, I hope that never happens, then you've got your list that will sit in there. I think I've shown you this before. This is fantastic. You've got to get one of those even if you don't have tools. Basically what it is, it's magnetic, and you can put this base on something that's metal, and when it's flat, you just put all your screws when you've unscrewed something, because that way if your dog bumps it or if someone bumps it, all the screws don't fall out because they're all magnetised. Doesn't work on stainless steel. Here we go. Right, so that's the ball weight on the Caravan. In a perfect world, this is my area. So what I would be doing is I would be moving the table out the road and either putting things along here or along here, but obviously the base of the table is going to be in the road. I'll move the table out, I'll take the cushions out, and you can see there's a little bit of storage there. However, I've got the diesel heater in there, so that's lost a bit of room, and yeah, again, there's not too much area. There's my area all bare naked. So I've taken off the cushions, I've taken off the table. As you can see, I can actually take that stand out if I want. But again, if I'm laying things over, it's not perfectly flat anymore. The base cannot come out. So I've got a little bit of space over here. I've got a fair bit of space there. However, I can't really put much in there because the diesel heater's been set up inside there. And again, you don't want things bouncing around. So I guess I'm a bit restricted. The other trick you can do, I don't know whether I'd recommend it or not, but what you can do is you can put some heavy things down there like eskies or big fridges, etc., that are really quite heavy. You can put them in that area, and you can get special, I don't know what you call them, but they're adaptable, and you can screw them and you can force the area to be quite firm. But again, you're going on gravel roads, it's not particularly suitable. So ideally you want to have, wherever you're putting your big stuff, make certain that's almost impossible to move around. Well, there you have it, a short video on weight distribution. I understand that I only really did a small part of it, but that boot is quite important because that'll affect the ball weight. So probably not a bad little exercise if you've had the van for a while, is to pull everything out of the boot, and if you've got the time, document it, write down everything that's in it. If you're really pedantic, you could write down what's everything in the left-hand side and everything in the right-hand side, and then print it and stick it inside the boot. And I also touched on a couple of other things, like don't have too much weight on the back of the Caravan, because that will do that. We don't want that. And if you possibly can, in a perfect scenario, try and get all your heavy things inside the Caravan, nice and secure, but sitting just above the axles. As I said, not always possible. Now, if you found the video useful, helpful and or entertaining, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, please do one day. And if you think the video is worth sharing, that too would be great. So until next time, this is Paul Wheel Drive, signing off.